for the first time today, well, envelope budgeting for the first time in a webinar, so that's exciting. So welcome. And for those who don't know who I am, I'm Nancy Libby, and I manage the support team here at IGG Software. And I've been around for 13 years or so around the block a few times, wear a few different hats, and I'm happy to be here with you. All right, so today's webinar, we're going to talk about the need for envelope budgeting and what it is exactly in Banktivity. And new to version 8, what we're calling the new Banktivity, are goals. And we're just going to take a really quick look to see how goals fit in your overall budget. And of course, I'm going to do a demo, so I'll show you how to set up a pretty simple envelope budget, but it'll get you well on your way to doing it on your own or fixing any mistakes that you might have made along the way. And I will be happy to stick around afterwards and answer any questions you might have. And with that, I'm going to ask if you don't mind hanging on to them till the end. That'll allow me to get through the demo, and folks that can't stick around can take off and I can answer all your questions. All right, so the need for envelope budgeting. Well, it keeps you on track at the big picture level. So you might be, trying to save money for a home, or you're getting married, or some big event. So envelope budgeting and goals will help you with that. And then it answers your day-to-day financial questions, and we'll look at those in a second. And it keeps an eye on your goals. So essentially, saving your money and putting it to good use. So your day-to-day questions might look something like this. How much do I have for eating out, or saved up for a vacation? And now in the holiday season, how much do I have for holiday gifts? And now, how am I doing saving towards my goals? So you can see all of that in envelope budgeting. It's a plan for your money. And envelope budgeting focuses on how you're going to spend your money going forward. So not analyzing the past and then trying to figure out what you should do differently going forward. It really it's sort of real time. It's what you have now, how you're going to spend that money, and not think about how historical spending. And it's flexible. Excuse me. Things change in your life. Like I said, you might be getting married, or a big item in your house breaks, and you have to adjust for that. And envelope budgeting allows for that very easily. And then you also may have looked at online for what is envelope budgeting, and you may have come across zero-based budgeting, and that is what envelope budgeting is. Okay, so now this is old school. Some of you may, I do, remember what these things are. And essentially what we used to do before, I guess, the digital age, is we'd take our paycheck, cash it, and take that cash and put the money in envelopes allocated for certain things that we spend money on every month. So, it works fine. I don't happen to carry cash anymore. But envelope budgeting is just the same, but it's in a lovely application now. So before I get into the demo, just a quick couple of things. The principles that we share on envelope budgeting is that you have some money right now. You're going to prioritize where you put that money. So the most important envelopes first. And you're going to be flexible. If you need to, just go ahead and adjust your budget. Stick to it. Don't adjust it to just to meet your what you want to do, but adjust it if things come up. That's fine. And then every time you get paid, you're going to rinse and repeat. So with that, I will move on to the demo. Okay, I don't know why it didn't come up, but here we are. So this is a very simple Banktivity document, and these accounts literally just have balances in them, so nothing tricky there. I am going to go to the top left of the main Banktivity screen and click on the plus sign and add budget. And here are two things to keep in mind. There are two types of income and expenses. There are the scheduled kind. So that would be paychecks, rent, anything that happens on a regular schedule. So the same payee, the same time during the month or the week for the same amount. So that's a scheduled transaction, a bill. And then there are unscheduled items, things like groceries, fuel for your car, things that happen regularly, but it's not the same payee, it's not the same amount, and it's not going to be the same exact day. All right. So we can name our budget anything we'd like. I'm going to stick with my budget. Now, you can choose to use all of your accounts, or you can include or exclude some accounts. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just keep the 3 accounts I have here included in the budget. And same with categories. There might be some categories that you just don't want to track. That's fine. So you can, or maybe there are categories that you don't use. So there's no reason to include them in your budget. Okay, so here are the 4 buckets, I'll say, of income. So the typical salary that most folks have, and then miscellaneous income. This is good for an independent contractor or if you have any rental income. And then hopefully everybody gets a bonus. That's something that you definitely want to include in your budget. And then any unscheduled income that you might get, odd jobs and that sort of thing, you can add as well. So I'm going to choose salary and just say that I work for ABC Company, and we'll call it $2,000 a month, and that will be deposited into my checking account. And you'll notice here, this scheduled income will repeat indefinitely. Now you can edit it at any time, but as it's set up right now, it's just going to repeat indefinitely. And you have options. Maybe you don't get paid every month. It might be the 1st and the 15th, or every 2 weeks. So you would just choose the correct option for you. Choose done. And I'm going to keep it simple, and that'll be my budgeted income. So I'm going to say done with income. So now I'm going to add any bills and expenses. So I'm going to add a bill. Remember, this is something that's happening on a regular basis, same payee. So we'll just say rent. I don't think there's rent for $1,000 anywhere, but so I'm just grabbing rent from the category list, and I'll write a check, and it is a withdrawal. So I'm going to say done with this bill. Let's add a few. So how about utilities for my rental, and we'll say 200, and we got utilities, and I'll do my credit card for that payment. Done with bill. And we'll add one more. How about my AT&T bill? And wouldn't it be lovely if it was only $100? Telephone, cellular. Okay, and I'll use my credit card for that too. Okay, so say done with this bill, and you can pull this down. And now I'm going to add some expenses. So how about 200 for groceries? And about 100 for pets and pet care. Feed the dog, the horse. And how about fitness and personal care? That's good. And let's do one more. 100. I'm doing all my hundreds here. So why don't we do dining and restaurants? The good old days when we could go out and have a nice meal. Okay, so here are all my budgeted expenses. Obviously, you're going to have, a boatload more. Um, just do the best you can. Go through the category list if you need to, and just pick things out that you know you'll be spending money on. So done with expenses. And yes, of course, that's why we're here. So we're going to set up envelopes. All right, so now these are the things that we told Banktivity about so far. Now, some things to remember or think about. You have cash on hand. So this would be your checking account and your savings account. But you have some debt, and that's the $200 in your credit card. And you also don't want to spend any money that you've reserved for goals. So you've got $2,300 here to work with. So here is your remaining to distribute. And all I'm going to do is go through and agree with Banktivity. So I said $200 for my vacation cash, and $100 for dining. Same with fitness, personal care. So you see remaining to distribute here. So we're getting that number's going down here. 100, 1,000. How are we doing? Getting close. Okay, so we still have $300. So here we have some decisions to make. We can put it all in one spot. We can divide it up amongst different envelopes. Holidays are coming up. I'm going to add the 300 here. Why not? So I'm going to add $500, and now the remaining to distribute is down to 0. So we're good. So I'm going to say done. And here is your envelope budget. So at the top, now obviously I haven't spent any money here, so the graph is not that exciting, but this is the budgeted line. So we'll see what we've actually budgeted and then what we've actually spent. So we're doing pretty well. We're under budget. Okay, now this is the new bit in Banktivity, the new Banktivity. We have goals, and you will see that in your envelope budget. And because I included my cash account, I can put money, more money in this goal if I choose to, as part of my budget. And we can do that in just a moment. So here are the envelopes that we set up, or the categories that represent these envelopes. You'll notice here on these bar graphs, I guess, are the diamonds, and that indicates where those scheduled transactions, where those bills are going to be paid. So they're all at the first of the month, and as you spend that money, they show up in your account either by import or manually adding them. They will be shown here in your bar chart. Here is the budgeted amount that we told Banktivity about, and at this point we've not spent any money, so the actual is 0. So our envelopes are good and funded here. So now I'm going to do something that happens in real life, which is I'm going to go to my checking account and I'm going to spend some money. So I'm going to go to the gift shop and buy a gift. And I don't know why that is not, want it to be a capital G. Okay. And I'm going to spend $30 on gifts. And I'm going to save that. Now, if I go back to my budget, you'll notice here there's a negative 30 in a gifts envelope that we did not set up, but it's showing here. But it's a glaring red, which means I've got to do something about this. So if I click on it, to move the screen so I can see. You'll see the current amount that we spent, and we can add $30 to that envelope to cover that purchase. And you'll have to do that from another envelope. So your source of funds would be another envelope. And I think because I funded that groceries envelope quite a bit, I'm going to take it from that envelope. So I'm going to save. And you'll notice that it's no longer here. So you scroll down and you'll notice now, though we covered it, we didn't actually budget for it. So gift seems like a pretty, good category to cover or to budget for. So I'm going to do that by clicking on budget for this. And now I have the option to just, put the $30 in. Maybe that's all you might spend on any particular item every month. But in this case, you might want to do a custom amount with the holidays and birthdays and such. So you can add different amounts to different times of the month. So that's an option that you could use. I'm going to keep it simple for today and just do my $30 to cover my gift. And now you'll notice this, it's moved to the budgeted expenses, and we've spent all of our money. So now the bar is filled up, and we've budgeted the 30, we've spent the 30, and now we have no more money to spend on gifts. Poor family this month. All right, so now I am going to go back to my checking account, and I'm going to get paid. So ABC Company, I'm going to get $2,000, and I'm going to save that. Now when I go back to my budget, you'll notice at the top it says to distribute. I've got $2,000 to put in my envelopes. So I've got a couple of options. I can let Banktivity do all the work for me and just choose fill envelopes at the top right. And I can distribute cash to envelopes. The first thing I want to do, however, before I do that, is I want to drag and drop the envelopes in the order I want them to receive cash. So things like rent would probably be a good thing to get taken care of first, and utilities, telephone. I would think the feeding the dog would be pretty big up there. Okay, let's leave it like that. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute cash to envelopes, and you'll notice that my goal here is at the top also. And so because I set a $200 goal for every month for my vacation cash, this is save for stuff, you'll notice that it's already just automatically added to this this envelope. Boy, okay, so now we have $400 in my envelope for my cash for vacation. Now rent looks good. All of these look good. Groceries, we originally said 200. That looks good. And we're down to 0. So that's pretty lucky of us. If we had some money left over somewhere to distribute, we can do that manually. Now I'm going to say done. Okay, so now that to distribute is no longer there. And if we scroll down, you'll notice our budget looks pretty good. The money that we have in our envelopes very good, because the money we didn't spend, let's call it last month, the original money that we put in, rolls over to the next month. So there's no, there's no starting from scratch, so to speak. All that money just rolls over. You can move it around. So for example, oops, hit the wrong button. You can adjust cash. So you can change for a one-time adjustment, you can move it from one envelope to the next. You can move cash between envelopes. You can, you can edit your budget. So maybe you got a pay raise, you want to change the amount of your paycheck, you can do that. It's just going to go right through the same setup, the same account assistant as we used initially. And you can export your budget. And that's my computer, that's not Banktivity. So you can export it to CSV if you want to share it, or to tab delimited, either way. And you can also view your budget in different time frames. So if you want to go back and look at previous months, you can do that. Okay, let's see, what else do I want to tell you about the budget? Oh yes, the goals, that's new. And this is new to my webinar. So you'll see here at the top, this little piggy bank is how much money we have set aside, and we need to set aside 100 more this month. So the expected amount is 200. Now I can do something here. If I want to move money to this envelope, say, like our groceries, I funded that one a little heavy. So I can move money from another envelope here. So maybe I want to just add another $100, and I can take it from my groceries and I can save that. And now you'll see I set aside 500. So it's kind of nice that they're incorporated, or very nice, so you can look at your budget and your goals and kind of get a good picture of where you are. All right, I'm going to go back my keynote and see what I've forgotten. All right, so we're going to talk about what you learned today. It's easy to have a plan for your money, as you can see. You can focus on how to spend your money going forward without analyzing the past. You can learn how, or you did learn, how you can begin to spend only the money you have right now. And you learned that envelope budgeting is flexible, so you can be too. Now, happy to answer any questions you might have. And I see one right now. Let's see. Okay, the question from Dale. Is there a way to import expenses or expense from the past year into the envelope budget so I don't have to guess how much I spent or had as income? Excuse me. I don't know the answer to your question. I want to look at something. Give me a moment. I don't see another question yet, so I'll goof around till, let's see. I think what you might want to do, if I edit this, you can change the start date. So that might be an option if you want to include, last year, or, just set it to 11/1/20. Do you think that would help you? I've never been asked that question. You have to let me know if that helps, Dale. I'm not sure. I think that would work, because then you can always go back in the months. Although you'd be setting the amount you thought you spent then too. There's no way to really import into a budget, so I was just trying to think of a workaround that you might be able to use. Not sure it's necessarily a good one. Sometimes my questions don't refresh right away, so I'm clicking about. I don't see anything yet, so if you've typed something, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing another follow-up. right, does anybody else have any questions? Oh, should I look at the, excuse me, the yearly report and see what each category reflected for the year before to use for current year? You might be able to. I mean, you're not going to want to recreate every month. So that, and it's probably not going to be the same for every month. So you might be doing a little guesswork. And then when you get to the current month, you're going to need to, you'll know what you have to distribute. So it'll be more accurate. No, no, I don't know if there's a good answer to that. If you want to email me at webinars@iggsoftware.com, I can think on that a little bit further, maybe ask my colleagues if they've ever heard that question. I do know that you can't, just import a budget. Okay, great. You can always come to our support too. They get, bombarded every day, all day. So they might have heard the question. All right. Wow, a quiet group here. Last webinar, I had lots of questions, and now I don't have many. Oh, here we go. Can you have Banktivity automatically distribute your paycheck? Well, it's part of to distribute. So in a sense, it does, right? As long as it's included in the budget, then it will. I mean, do you mean automatically distribute it to a specific thing? Just that? I mean, that's sort of what, all your income is going to be used for distributing to your budget. Dale, I'm going to read this out loud because it's nice. He says, I've bombarded them in the past when there was a recurring problem. They were very helpful. It took a while, but it was eventually resolved. Kudos to your team. And I will pass that along. Oh, instead of hitting the button, no, you have to fill envelopes or manually do that, which I didn't actually show you. You can click on these budgeted amounts and change them manually too, if you'd like. But nope, got to hit the button. Sorry. It's actually a good sanity check to see everything in one window and decide if it all looks good, in my opinion. But some people like to manually update when they have money to distribute. But I take the lazy route and let Banktivity do it for me. You can always make edits after. All right. I hate to cut people off because I know typing a question takes a little bit longer than just thinking it. I'm not seeing anything. But we have resources. You can come to support or you can email me, and we're happy to help. There's also a great deal of support articles, probably gotten past the FAQs at this point, but we have a lot of good stuff on our website for support. All right, I'm going to let you all go and wish you a very happy holiday season and a safe one. And it's going to be an odd one, but I hope that you find some joy. And thank you for joining me today and using Banktivity. Take good care.